الحمد لله الذي أعظم على عباده المنة بما صرف عنهم كيد الشيطان وفنه ورد أمله وخيب ظنه وإذ جعل الصيام لأوليائه حسنا وجنة وفتح لهم به أبواب الجنة وعرفهم أن وسيلة الشيطان إلى قلوبهم الشهوات المستكنة وأن بقمعها تصبح النفس المطمئنة وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله طاق إلى ذكره القلب السليم وحنه وأشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أبان لنا الطريق وسنه والصلاة على محمد قائد الخلق وممهد السنة وعلى آله وأصحابه الرافعين عن العباد الحجب الكثيفة والأكنة وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد فيا أيها الإخوة المؤمنون والأخوات المؤمنات سلام الله تعالى عليكم ورحمته وبركاته. قال الله عز وجل في القرآن الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. صدق الله العظيم. How extraordinary must have been that time following the Hijrah, when it was announced that this fast would become incumbent upon all members of the Ummah. This verse that says, the month of Ramadan in which the Quran was sent down, a guidance for people and clear truths of discernment and right guidance. So whoever amongst you sees the month, let him fast. And from that time to the present time, the years have turned, dynasties have come and gone, families have come and thrived and then seen their names wiped out under the dust of time. But the Muslims in this month of the year continue to rise for their suhoor and continue to fast patiently during the day and continue to break their fast. It never ends. Such is the power of religion. Only religion abides. And in this time, we remember that we are privileged. And we will get the most out of this month if we remember the particular advantages which it offers us. إذا دخل شهر رمضان فتحت أبواب الجنة وغلقت أبواب النار وصفدت الشياطين ونادى مناد يا باغي الخير هلم ويا باغي الشر اقصر. In the hadith we learn, when the month of Ramadan comes in, the gates of paradise are opened and the gates of hell are closed and the shayateen are chained. And a herald calls out saying, O you who seek for good, rise up. O you who seek for evil, be restrained. This is something we feel in ourselves. And it is worth concentrating on the subtle effects that religion has upon us. Who takes a medicine and does not then want to see whether it's helping or not? A few days later, a few months later, did it work, did it not work? This is how we should treat the medicine chest of revelation. What is Ramadan doing for us spiritually? In other words, what is it doing for us essentially? What does it mean for the gates of heaven to be open and the gates of hell to be closed and for the devils to be tied up? And what it means is that the most fundamental skill that we learn in life and in religion, which is the regulation of the will, is facilitated at this time. It's made easier. It's easier to do good. We are more resistant to doing evil. We are energized despite our low blood sugar levels, and we do more of the khairat. It is a time for family. It is a time for sadaqah. It is a time for renewing our acquaintance with Allah's book. It is a time when we are energized to do the things from which we are pretty lazy at other times of the year. It is an opportunity. And the lower impulses within us, these shahawat mustakinna, these hidden desires and impulses, which for so many of us constitute the bulk of what we are, chained up, less strong. This is an opportunity. Let's put it to good use. The clock is ticking. 7 days have gone. A quarter of the month has gone. You can see the moon. A quarter has elapsed. And during the day, we experience hunger. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells His angels, look at my servants. Have you not seen that he is renouncing his food and his drink? يَذَرُ طَعَامَهُ وَشَرَابَهُ لِأَجْلِي. Why? When we feel pain in our bodies, that's because something's wrong and we need to fix it. Hunger is a kind of pain. Why is this beneficial to us? Well, it is beneficial. And some of the benefits will already be familiar to many of us. The most obvious spiritual benefit is the one which we just rehearsed, which is that those lower impulses are restrained somewhat during this blessed month, which is the most precious thing, because we are like feathers blown by the winds of our impulses. We need a bit of help. We need a lot of help. So we are hungry. Does that help with anything at all? Isn't it like a headache or backache? What good does it do? The Holy Prophet says in a remarkable hadith, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَجْرِي فِي ابْنِ آدَمَ مَجْرَى الدَّمِ فَضَيِّقُوا مَجَارِيهِ بِالْجُوعِ. The shaitan flows in the son of Adam along with the veins, with the blood, so close up his passageways with hunger. Again, there are spiritual mysteries here. What is the true nature of the unclean shaitan? We have only a loose and inaccurate image, although we know he is real enough. And his domain is the lower self. That is his throne within us. So when we are hungry, he is restrained. Again, where are the benefits? Well, one of them is that we know what this pain is. So many people in our comfortable, centrally heated, fast food age never know this thing, although it was certainly known to our ancestors. Let us spare a thought and a prayer for our fasting brothers in Palestine at this time. Their homes may have collapsed about their ears with the promise of worse to come. The rich and the powerful may be glaring at them, wishing that they went far away. But there they are. They put up the little flags and they fast and they have their iftar and they have their tarawih amongst the ruins. Religion goes on. We feel sorry for ourselves here, but there it is 1,000 times worse. Let us pray. Let us keep them in mind. Let us give our sadaqah and our zakat in this precious time, because they are our brothers and our sisters like ourselves. So there's solidarity. We know what it is to hunger, and most people here are looking forward to a nice helping of something the moment the sun goes down. Maybe not for many people in the world. Think of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is a great softening of the heart in considering his hunger. He was the ruler of his world. In secular terms, the king of Medina, the uniter of Arabia. Tribute brought to him from all hands, ambassadors from neighboring countries, and yet his house, no windows. The roof was so low it was only barely above his blessed head. The door was not made of wood, it was just a piece of sackcloth. The ulama and muhaddithin have recorded all of this. Difficult, unimaginably difficult. And yet, despite that difficulty and despite that hunger, he changed the world and he changed his world. There is no excuse for not being active. Look at what he did, alayhi salatu wasalam. Nobody relied on his Lord more than he did, Imam al-Mutawakkilin. But nobody did more actively in the world than he did, alayhi salatu wasalam. The hunger, acute, hard for us to imagine. Day after day, not much for iftar, maybe nothing for iftar. The poet says, وَشَدَّ مِنْ سَغَبٍ أَحْشَاءَهُ وَطَوَى تَحْتَ الْحِجَارَةِ كَشْحًا مُتْرَفَ الْأَدَمِ وَرَاوَدَتْهُ الْجِبَالُ الشُّمُّ مِنْ ذَهَبٍ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ فَأَرَاهَا أَيَّمَا شَمَمِ وأكدت زهده فيها ضرورته إن الضرورة لا تعدو على العصم. Beautiful lines, familiar to so many. He would tie a flat stone upon his stomach and make it tight because of the extremity of his hunger. But then the mountains offered to turn to gold so he could be the richest man in the world. A high net worth individual, but he just turned away. He was not interested in that. Even the extremity of his need, not enough for the rest of his day, did not incline him towards that for one moment. Subhanallah. Muhammadun sayyidul kawnaini wal thaqalaini wal fariqaini min urbin wa min ajami. And then the poet says, Muhammad is the Lord of both worlds, this and the next, and of both kinds, men and jinn, and of both types of humanity, Arabs, non-Arabs. He is the Lord of them all, despite the fact that he has nothing of this dunya and is not interested. Subhanallah. Contemplating his poverty and his hunger and his extraordinary energy in ibadah and in the affairs of his realm helps us to see our own self-pity in a bit of perspective. So this is also beneficial. We empathize with others. But ours is an age in which the whole economy is geared up to gratifying our shahawat, our pleasures. We walk through Lion's Yard and everything is there to grab us. Come in, buy this, pay for that, special offer. Have you got your coupons? Have you got your nectar card? Inviting us, that's their world. All of these pullings. And of course, because we are who we are, within us there is a kind of black hole that will suck in every pleasure and still have room for more. We're distracted and that's fun. There's nothing in Islam that says you can't go to the souk or the bazaar and you can't go shopping. And you buy the things that you need and you give hamd and shukr and you recite the dua that you recite when a particular kind of food or a particular kind of clothing has come into your house. We're not monks, we're not nuns, but this excess, this obsessiveness, which is destroying the environment and unbalancing the economy and presiding over so many inequalities of rich and poor. Let us imagine the homeless, and we have many here in Cambridge, looking through those windows, receiving those signals that they have nothing in their pocket. Let us consider them, and let us consider the chosen one, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, who chose to be amongst them. The most powerful ruler in Arabia, and yet he wanted to be with the poor. And he prayed to be resurrected amongst the poor. Ukhshurni fi zumratil masakin, he said to his Lord, resurrect me with the really poor people. And we start to see that the world, which is so interested in brands and styles and statements and influences and symbols of wealth and unboxing this, is mad. We are prioritizing that which is not good for us. And since human needs are endless and the world's resources are finite, sooner or later there will be a crisis. Perhaps it is near. We see the unstable state of the world as it is at present. So in Ramadan we also learn restraint. And we learn this most valuable of lessons, which is that by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can have sabr. As-sawmu, nisfu, as-sabr. The hadith says fasting is half of sabr. That's a lot. given that sabr is the basis of leading a decent life. Self-restraint, self-control, discipline, being master of your own will. In business, in education, in relationships, in religion, it's always about controlling the will. Those who can't control it, قَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, they're the losers. And during Ramadan, we learn that despite what we tell ourselves for so much of the year, oh, I'm weak, I can't resist this, I need another of these, just a little bit more of that, let me buy a slightly better car, let me do this, that, and the other, all of that we can do without perfectly well. We do have willpower. We can say no even to very fundamental things. What is more fundamental than food and drink? Of all the basic human needs, family, shelter, food, drink, those are the basics. And we know that we can say no. And that's an important lesson. And for the rest of the year, we have one less excuse when we're thinking of overdoing something, overeating, consuming too much, buying things we don't really need, neglecting our neighbours. It's an important lesson. This college of Ramadan teaches us so much. But there's also in Ramadan the subtler thing, which is that usually when human beings are angry and shouting and truculent with each other, it's because of a kind of excess of the fiery temperament within themselves, bubbling up. We know the hadith that says, الغضب جمرة في قلب ابن آدم. Anger is a red-hot coal in the heart of the descendants of Adam. أفما رأيتم إحمرار وجهه وانتفاخ أوداجه فمن أحس بذلك منكم بشيء فليلصق في الأرض. Have you not seen the red face of the angry person and the swelling of his jowls? That's somebody who's, in English we say, bursting with rage. So whoever amongst you feels something like that, let him lie down on the earth. How many of our ummah do this? There is so much anger. Not good. Not good at all, unless it's anger for Allah's rights. But mostly our anger is for our own ego. So in this month of Ramadan, we find that there is a strict prohibition on arguments and on unnecessary anger. So when we're fasting, فَإِنْ شَاتَمَهُ أَحَدٌ أَوْ قَاتَلَهُ فَلْيَقُلْ إِنِّي صَائِمٌ. Holy Prophet's guidance is, if somebody insults him or wants to fight with him, let him just say, I'm fasting. And in the Muslim world, that's still understood. There's still a certain respect. There's a fight in the marketplace in Morocco or Cairo, wherever it may be. I'm fasting. That calms things down. It still does. Such is the respect that people have for the fast, for Ramadan, and for those who keep the fast. So Ramadan turns out to have many lessons. It's a crash course, a month in which we learn things. But any pupil will only learn if he's paying attention to what the teacher is saying. If we're just daydreaming, looking out the window, waiting for the end of the school day, oh, there's the bell, goodness knows what I was doing today, and the divine offering has not been taken. It has been refused. Every moment of these times, we can be turning our minds to what is good, to what is pure, to what is helpful, to what is healing. And humanity, in this state of rage and this state of anger and this state of egotism, this state of tribalism, is as it were in a new age of Jahiliyyah. Every tribe is interested only in itself. This is my people, we're special. We're going to put sanctions on you. We're going to put taxes on you. We're going to impose tariffs on you. We're going to defend you, we're not going to defend you. It's all me and you, me and you. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ was the man who transcended that. And the tribes of Arabia all lined up behind him in the Haram of Medina, and it didn't matter which tribe they were from. This had never happened before in the history of the Arabs. Subhanallah. لو أنفقت ما في الأرض, if you spent everything on the earth, ما ألفت بين قلوبهم, you would not be able to reconcile their hearts. Just another 100 billion for this country, another 200 billion for that country, and then they'll fall in line with our policies. Maybe not, but not the tough Arabs back then. Pride, honor, vengefulness. You against me, a kind of mafia, cosa nostra world of tit for tat, vengeance and vendetta. And what does he do? Alayhi salatu wasalam. Through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his message and the healing balsam of his word, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ أَلَّفَ بَيْنَهُمْ. Allah brought together their hearts. And this word is like ulfa, which is to make somebody tame. In Arabic you say hayawanun alif, a tame animal. They were friends. فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. And you became, by his blessing, brothers. So overcoming the ego is the first step to overcoming selfishness, is the first step to overcoming tribalism, only going with the people with whom one is familiar, and that is the next step to healing amongst Bani Adam. In this dangerous time, we need this message more than ever before. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open our hearts and our minds to this gift of the fast, increase us in sabr and also in shukr for the gift of the fast, help those amongst us who are struggling with the fast, be forgiving to them. Inshallah, make this a time for the reunion of families, a time for the reunion of hearts, a time for the reunion of the ummah, a time, inshallah, when we can look forward to the reunion of Bani Adam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.